Hi, this is Mike Essen, South Florida's conservative voice. Many people say that Democrats on the far left are socialists. I'm going to take it a step further. They're flat out communists if I ever saw one. They're Stalinists. They are as communists as Fidel Castro, Mao, Pol Pot, and Stalin. They just don't say it, which those people did either before they took power. And I'm going to make my case very fervent. Let's talk about their view of law enforcement. They don't want any. They want to defund and abolish the police. It is not just Mike Essen who says that. It's not just the conservative talking heads like Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, and Sean Hannity who say that. It is in the platform of the Democratic Socialists of America. It is in the campaigns of Mohammed al-Sayed. It is in the words of the squad, like Cori Bush was very big on this, AOC, Zoran Mamdani, and then the whole communist gang. Bernie Sanders said something very interesting. He said he wants to abolish it 50% in 1 year. It means he wants to abolish it completely. Don't fall for that. They also want to abolish prisons. I mean, think of this. No one's going to arrest killers, murderers, arsons, rapists, sex traffickers, and they're not going to go anywhere. I mean, which goes together, but that's anarchy, and that's what happens in communist countries. But there will be people persecuted. I'm going to get to that. Can you imagine if I would have made a movie about this 20 years ago or saw a movie about this? I did a lot of movie reviews. I've seen a lot of movies. I would have deemed it unrealistic and not worthy of my time. But the Democratic Socialists of America, the communists, remember, I want to clarify. I'm not talking about your mainstream Democrats, if there is such a thing anymore. But the people who don't talk like this on a regular basis, I mean, there's a couple examples, maybe John Fetterman, Van Jones, and Bill Maher. There's a few that stand out and speak out, but it's not the majority. It's not Hakeem Jeffries. It's not Chuck Schumer. It's not Nancy Pelosi. They say nothing about it. They even honor the squad and those people and praise them heavily. They also want to abolish ICE. So anybody can come in the country with drugs, rape people, human traffic people, and you can do it when you're here because there's no police and there's no prisons. That's one of the first things the communists do when they take power. And great vultures of a feather flock together and great minds think alike. Here are all the things that the communist Democrats want for free. I am not joking. I wish I was kidding. I can't even laugh at this because some are taking power already. It's free health care we know about, free college you know about. But did you know they want free housing? They want free transportation, free abortions for any reason, all 9 months of pregnancy, free gender affirming care, but they want to dictate how much temperature you should have in your home and what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat. This is exactly what happens in countries like Cuba when Venezuela took over. It happened there. The former Soviet Union, Cambodia, Vietnam. It's the same pattern, folks. Learn from history. Learn from history. The first thing they do, though, I don't talk about, I'm a staunch supporter of the Second Amendment. Now, I don't talk about it as much as I used to, not because my support is weaned off at all. It hasn't. Believe me, without the Second Amendment, the others don't matter. That's keeping us afloat in everywhere we are. But I think gun rights are safe in this country. I'm less worried about it than most issues. And thank God I'm less worried about it because you have to understand something. It's not in the words of Mike Essen. If you look at the quotes from Mao, Castro, Stalin, and all these people, they're always saying they want to disarm the populace in a country that can't defend itself or enslaved by the public. They make that crystal clear. And anybody who thinks the Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms should not be infringed, the right of the people to keep and bear arms should not be infringed, is not for the people, and it's for a collective right, they're dead wrong. This is very important what I'm about to say. People equate it to a militia or a National Guard. There was no National Guard back then. The militia was the people, and it would be in that section of the Constitution. It says the right of the people to keep and bear arms, not the right of the government or the army or there was no armed forces. It's ridiculous. Yes, I am a strict constructionist. But the progressives, the commies, the Democrat Party, want to ban guns. Kamala Harris said she would go to every house, knock on every door, and take your gun away. Hillary Clinton said that she would, Australia, who confiscates its guns, should be the model for the United States. They are communists. Barack Obama, total gun banner. All these people we talk about, Mamdani, AOC, Bernie Sanders, he's a little more lenient on the Second Amendment. I'm not going to ask. He's a communist regardless. He would take it away, in my opinion, because he'd be pressured to. Regardless of that, they want to abolish it, but it's not just the seconds. They have no regard for the First Amendment. I want to make it. The cancel culture makes me vomit. It is sickening. I hate when people say about big tech censorship, well, they're private companies. They have rights to. No, they don't. They don't have a right to do this. They're not private when they're open to the public. If they were charging you, I can see your point. But that is for the public to share ideas. And when someone is afraid to speak out in this country, like when Craig James from ESPN, the former running back for the New England Patriots, said he was against same-sex marriage, he got fired. People get canceled. Gal Gadot is for Israel, she gets canceled. Lately, Carrie Underwood put 2 American flags in her house, in her front yard. She got canceled. This is done by the communist progressives. They are behind all this. Hollywood has become a communist state, as well as The View and all those stations. They're the ones behind all this. Academia is too. And the media, mainstream media, they're all communists. Because they support these people and support this. So censorship is rampant. Merrick Garland said he would call domestic terrorists parents who objected to CRT. If that is not far left Soviet communism, my name is not Mike, and don't call me Steve. And something the communists do well, I'm not giving you credit, but they do this very well, and the left does it so well, is they demonize the opposition. It's bad enough. It is absolutely bad enough that the term fascist, the term racist is used for everything. If you disagree with a progressive communist and you win the arguments, you're called a racist. If you stand, Chris Matthews, the disgraced left-wing talk show host who got fired from even MSNBC because he had no talent, he was a jerk, said the word Chicago was racist. I'm sure the group with Frank Sinatra who sang the song will be canceled today. It's absurd. And you're going to please hold on to your chairs and buckle your seatbelts, so I'm about to tell you something. The Smithsonian, you may have heard of this, said that politeness was racist and fascistic. I can't help it. That's going to go nowhere, so I'm going to let. I can't even take comment that bizarre, that seriously. This segment of the show can be called Progressives Say the Darndest Things. Every day, they make a stupid, moronic, asinine, LSD-inducing, stupid-ass comment that makes me just laugh instead of being angry. But I'm getting less humorous when they're taking power. And I'll go over some of these comments and either laugh or cry or do both at the same time, but you got to be informed. I just gave you one. The Smithsonian said politeness was racist. AOC said 2 things that were stupid. She gets the award for the moron of the month. She said that our foundations were based on Jim Crow laws. Jim Crow laws were way, way after the founding, the Declaration of Independence was signed in our Constitutional Convention. She needs a history lesson. And she said that Republicans want the Save America Act, which I do too, to cheat so only legal people vote. They should have drug tests for Congress people. The more I hear that, I'm sure she's on something. Gavin Newsom is signing a bill. I'm not kidding. Where it's illegal for parents to have power over their kids 12 or younger. In New York, and this infuriates me. It's hard to laugh at this because this is This is total play on words, 1984 communist style. They are making the words mother and father illegal. It's on Kathy Hochul's governor's desk. I hope that commie doesn't sign it. I'm not optimistic. My parents were not birthing persons. I love my parents. My parents were not gender affirmers. My parents were not anything but my mom and my dad. They were mothers and fathers. Why the heck do you find that term offensive? Those terms offensive? One thing I always say, I cannot get in the mind of these people. They're sick. Joy Behar said if she was drowning, this is another, she makes stupid, The View makes so many moronic comments, it's sick. She has actually 2 comments herself. Maybe she was in Warner last month. She says a Trump supporter could save her if she was drowning, she'd rather drown. If I'm drowning, I don't care if Genghis Khan or Joe Stalin are saving me. I want to be saved. I love living. And she also said that the American flag offends her so much she gets traumatized. I would hold out a credit card and say I'll pay for your ticket, but I'm not that generous when it comes to stupid. If an American flag offends you, let me give out a website, uhaul.com. Use it and go to Southwest Airlines and get the hell out of this country. I'm sick of it. Love it or leave it, that is right. I know I know a lot of people are gonna say and they're thinking, you're talking like someone from the 60s. No kidding, I am. I live in South Florida. You know that. South Florida's conservative voice for a reason. I don't live in Texas. I don't live in North Florida. I live in South Florida. If I love it here, I wouldn't live anywhere else. If I didn't like it, would I live here or would I leave? These people hate America. Another way that opposition is demonized, and this has gone way beyond just demonizing. And this is total communist manifesto talk. They think anyone who disagrees with them deserves to be assassinated or beaten or killed. And they cheer the deaths of people who oppose them. I'm going to mention 2 cases that were publicly known. One is very well known. One was in the news about 4 years ago, a friend of mine. Chris Monzon, who will be coming on the show later this month representing the John Birch Society, was beaten for canvassing for Marco Rubio. The reporters, the leftists, all said he deserves it because it's things he may have done and been associated with in his past. Let me make this crystal clear as cocaine to you, guys, who are smoking it by saying that. Nobody deserves to be beaten. Nobody deserves to be touched against their will. You don't use violence is not the way to solve your problems unless you're defending yourself, not because you don't like somebody or their politics. Nobody deserves to be beaten or killed. So many people, so many comments, including commentators, so much trash, like Jimmy Kimmel, that nobody in MSNBC, I forgot his name, he's so insignificant. And I hear comments all the time on YouTube, so many. The song Ding Dong Witch is Dead I was listening to by Emerald, an old song. The Fifth Estate, excuse me. And they said in the comments it should be for Charlie Kirk. And people are literally arguing whether someone should, I'm not going to have any debates about whether someone should be assassinated. Nobody deserves to be assassinated, damn it. That is sick. Killing somebody and being somebody are messed up. We don't use violence to solve our problems. That's what separates civilized and uncivilized societies. And in communist countries, they kill people who differ. You see the connection. Now, I'm saying the only thing that's not associated with communism is moronic comments, but it's fun to make fun of. I can't pass up. It's my job to demonize, to talk about the left. I'm not if you think I'm demonizing, I'm not. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not calling the left-wingers communists because I want to call names or I'm a bully or anything like that. If you listen to any of the communist leaders like Pol Pot, Castro, Stalin, Mao, Maduro, Chavez, you name it, and you listen to Joe Biden's presidential talk commentary or Bernie Sanders when you're for president. The only difference is they speak English, they speak other languages, Spanish, Mandarin, Russian, what have you. One thing they advocate, and this is not only the Democrat Socialists of America, is the Green New Deal, which is as bad as any bill that's ever been proposed. AOC proposed this, the Democrats support it, the environmentalists whack. Let me say clear to you, I'm not against, no one's against the environment. Conservationists are normal people, environmentalists are Al Gore types. If Al Gore was right about an inconvenient truth, what he had in that documentary, we would have been dead 20 years ago. None of what he said of the 13 claims are true. But the Green New Deal is not when the least of the problems is 92 trillion, and that's what it is. We don't have enough for the wall. They say we have enough for the Green New Deal. They want to abolish travel, abolish buildings, abolish meat, abolish fossil fuels. Can you say Flintstones? Meet the Flintstones. It's worse than that. At least the Flintstones had freedom. They were just cavemen, and they weren't real also. This is reality, and that's scary. But there's something about the Green New Deal that Mark Moreno in his book wrote about when he trashed it. It's permanent. There's permanent lockdowns involved. You don't leave your house. I lived under that. So did all of us in the world. That was communism. It was torture. So when you look at the whole picture, not just one of these things alone, no law enforcement, no prisons, no ICE, free everything, that's free housing, free healthcare, free abortions, free gender affirming care, free transportation, cancel culture, demonization, and there's two other things I'm not even finished. They want to redefine the family. That is strictly in the Communist Manifesto. I mentioned in New York, they're trying to outlaw the terms mother and father. They won't even define a man or a woman. And Mario Lopez almost got canceled. I wish he didn't apologize for this. Don't work in a place that's sick. For saying there are only two genders. To say a man can get pregnant is insane. It's absurd. It's lunacy. He can't. So there's no genders, no family. That's communism. They want to redefine it. So you read the definition of the family, censorship, abolishing the Second Amendment, and saying that political opposition deserves to die. I'm frightened for our country. I got to be honest. I'm a caring person. I care about the people in New York. I care about the people in the city. I care about the people in the state. She's a communist too, Kathy Hochul. People in California. Gavin Newsom also they hate religion so much. He outlawed prayer during and tried to people been arrested for praying on people's lawns in his care. He is a disgrace. Put all this together, and you don't think that these people are communists. You're either in denial or you're one of them, and you don't want to admit it. I don't like the term socialist when it comes to these people. I mean, there's truth to it if you want to get technical. The Soviet Union was a United Soviet Socialist Republic. And Nazi Germany was National Alliance of Socialist Workers. Just telling the truth. If the truth hurts, I'm sorry. When you have these communists and you call them socialists, you're using a euphemism just to make them look better. I'm not saying socialism is a good thing. It's a step before communism, but they're the whole kit caboodle, my friends. And right now, it's what's on the ballot. If you're saying, Mike, you're painting a broad brush with the party, I am, and I'll explain why. Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries. Let's just take those two. Do not condemn this. They're the leaders of the House and the Senate. They're fair to judge. They have never condemned the squad. They have never condemned Mamdani, Zara Mamdani. They have never condemned Bernie Sanders. They have never condemned Abdul el-Sayed, that is. They've never condemned any of the left-wingers. Cori Bush, you name it. If you stand silent in the face of evil, you're enabling evil and you support evil. I'm very scared for the midterms. We have the communists versus the conservatives. And don't say they're as far to the right as Democrats or the left. That's absurd. You really think Mike Johnson's a fascist, or John Thune, or even Ted Cruz is a freedom-loving stalwart? The last thing his father escaped communism and hates fascism too. That's why he supports Israel and fights fascism every day of his life. The only saving grace would be, I'm encouraging you to get out there in droves and vote for the Republican Party straight ticket. Even if it's not someone you like. No, it's a moderate Republican or even a liberal Republican like Susan Collins or Maria Salazar is not a communist. They're better than that. Wolf in sheep's clothing are better than the communists. But the only saving grace would be that we have a Republican conservative president, and we have the filibuster as well. We have to keep that. But I'm not one of these people who head to 2028. It's defeatist strategy. Let me tell you what I mean. If I was talking about the World Series before I even cared about the semifinals, the AL and NL Classics, I would be a bad manager. We have to do one thing at a time. I'll worry about that later. We need to win the midterms and get the truth out like I'm doing now. It's not just me. Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, Isabel Brown, Sean Hannity, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles are all talking about this. We can't talk about it enough. I'm not saying it's all we should talk about. One of those shows are terrible. And I want to tell you something that stands out about my show that I'm very proud of. I have progressives on who debate me on the topics. I will have them on and debate them toe to toe. I did with Gloria Allred on abortion. I did it a few weeks ago with a supporter of legalizing marijuana. I have a progressive coming on debating birthright citizenship. Oh, we need to eliminate that, but I'll save that for that show. And people have said to me, Mike, you're giving them free airtime. You're right, I am. You need to confront the enemy head on. Let me give you an example. In the Scopes trial 100 years ago in the 1920s, Clarence Darrow, if you've seen the movie Inherit the Wind, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I'm going to tell you about it. An attorney, the best attorney ever possibly, if there is such a thing, cross-examined William Jennings Bryan, who wanted to teach just creationism in the schools. Darrow wanted creationism and evolution. He destroyed him so much publicly, his supporters turned against him. He died the next day. I'm not wishing anybody dead. I'm not. I'm just telling you what happened. If Ted Cruz, this would be it. When Ted Cruz debated Bernie Sanders, I love those Ted Bernie debates. He did great. We need people to come forward, and these shows need to bring these people on. Mamdani, what a scumbag. What an anti-Semitic, communist, sick scumbag. Need to take them on and embarrass them in front of the whole world. Our freedom's at stake, folks. It's one generation away from extinction. Don't wait till it's too late. Don't wait till the communists take over. Now, if you're thinking, what can I do about it? There's about a lot you can do. You can write to your newspapers, write to your congressmen, go to town hall meetings, write to your senators, participate, encourage others to participate. Social media is a great like the pages and follow on Facebook, follow them on Twitter and Instagram. To the Pope and increase that. You ask everybody else to do it too. I do a lot of mass emails. If you didn't see mine, I love writing them. But we need to support conservatism and free marketplace and the exchange of ideas, no matter how bad they are. Voltaire is the one who said, I hate what they say, but I'll defend their right to say it. And people used to ask me a lot, Mike, would you defend the Klan's right to speak? Do I agree with what they say? Of course not. Do I defend the right to say it? Absolutely, yes. I'm not for canceling anybody on the planet. We all have a right to free speech. Nazis, I hate Nazis as much as anybody. I'm Jewish. I had family members who died in the concentration camps. I was very critical of Jay Collins, ready for governor, because he wants to abolish hate speech. It cost him my vote, actually, to be honest with you, in the primary. I support any Republican in general. Once you take away one group's right to speak, it's a real slippery slope to hell. Please click like in this page and subscribe to the Mike Essen Show, South Florida's conservative voice, and be a freedom stalwart.